I'm pleased to invite Mr. Francois Pachet to the stage. Mr. Francois has been a pioneer in AI-assisted music creation. He developed many AI tools with the attempts to combine both the viewpoint of the musician and of scientist. He was a principal investigator of the Flow Machine at Sony, creating Daddy's Car, and then Hello World, the first mainstream music album composed with AI. He is also a musician and published 2 music albums. He's a composer and performer. Later was at the Spotify, and he's with us today. Francois, and welcome.
Speak with this mic. Yes. Hello. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, I'm very happy and honored to come here, especially in those times, and to talk a little bit about AI and music generation. What is the situation? What's going on? And the title you will see is very specific. Before this, I just wanted to go very quickly about what I've done, but Eyal just said it. I've been working in this subject for 25 years. Mostly because I'm a researcher, I'm like an engineer, scientist, but I was always fascinated by the question, why is music interesting? Why do I like this song and not that song? What makes all these songs interesting to me? And I always thought, AI can be a way to understand better what is a good song and maybe to generate new songs. And so I've been doing this for a while. It has been said that this car, it's already 8 years ago. Then we did this album called Hello World with a great musician in France called Stromae, who is well known in Europe. And we made a few songs with him and with the AI that I developed at Sony at that time. And then we did other albums with Spotify and so on. And so I don't have so much time, but one of the nicest songs that we have been making with AI is this one, in the House of Poetry. I don't have the time to play it. Go and listen to it on Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon, Spotify, whatever. And the idea here was to create a song that was as good as the song that we liked, especially the last song of the Jungle Book. I don't know if you know the last song of the Jungle Book, when Mowgli leaves his friends and go to meet the girl. And then there is a very nice song. And I think this song is as nice as that one, and I won't play it so that you have to go and listen to it. Okay. Now, I still didn't get how I get, oh yes, oops, sorry. Can I go backward? Yes, so this is the title. Today, lots of people talk about AI in music, and the question I have is the problem solved? Is it all right now? Is it done? Or is it not done, And I will answer this, give you an answer, which of course is not simple, but I will say yes, but, right? First thing I want to really emphasize is the first time in the history of mankind that we have come from scarcity to super abundance. When I was a teenager, I was privileged to have like 100 records, which is approximately 1,000 titles, which I would know by heart. Nowadays, a young guy has 100 million titles. Quickly, almost for free, everything is available. Plus, every day, there is approximately 100,000 new titles on all the platforms. It's all the same, Spotify, Amazon, whatever, which is really about 100,000 times more than what I had when I was young, right? And so the thing is, we don't know actually how to manage this. It's really hard, and this has nothing to do with AI. It's the situation for music. It's actually exactly the same for books and for all the culture that has been digitized today. So, and this is very new, and AI is arriving at a state where it's already quite a big mess, if I can say. The second problem, I'm really not good at that. I still didn't get which button. The second problem is this one, and here I know I will not have many friends now anymore, especially the musicians who are making music today. I'm making music today. But many critics agree that there is something wrong with the quality of the mainstream music today. I'm not saying this myself. Many people like Rick Beato, who has millions of followers on the web, he's asking why today's music is so boring. He is saying this, There is a very interesting analysis of all the James Bond soundtracks through the years, which shows very clearly that harmony is going down, melody, lyrics, everything. And there are lots of scientific papers saying approximately the same thing. Okay, this is a situation, and it's not AI. It's because we are in this world where everything is there, and there are so many people making music. Okay, then comes AI. What is AI? Hey, I have 10 seconds. Basically, a deep learning network is a machine which mathematically can approximate any function. Okay, maybe it does make a lot of sense, but the latest incarnation, the transformers, basically what they can do is they can solve any problem as long as it is well-defined. Okay, and that's very, very, very important to understand here what it means, well-defined. Well-defined means you know how to say that this is a good solution and this is not a good solution. You know to say this is a tumor in the radio of the lungs, for instance. It is or it is not, right? Or you know that if it's a chess move, it's a good move or not good move. You can have a function, an evaluation function that tells you if it's good or not, right? And if you have this, many problems are not only solved. So in the case of music, there are two problems that used to be very, very hard that have been not only solved, but they have disappeared from the landscape of research. And all the researchers working on this are very depressed currently because they don't have anything to do. So first one is source separation. You have a mixed signal with lots of instruments. It has been mixed, and you want to separate it back. And it used to be a problem that was so hard, many people thought it was actually impossible to do it right. Now it is done with deep learning, and it's solved. It's done, it's almost perfect. Another problem is singing voice synthesis, as you know, probably. You can imitate the voice of anyone very easily now, and you have heard about all the issues that it raises. So these problems are solved, it's done, but they are well defined. You know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to separate the sources, you're trying to imitate a voice, you can measure how good you are, how bad you are, and this measure is going to help you solving the problem, right? And you have heard also about prompt-based generation, which is the subject of the current weeks. Suno, sorry, there is a mistake, MusicML and many others, and Udio. And here I want to play an example. It's generated by prompt like, generate a big bang with the S word. S is for shit, sorry. I don't know how it is in Israel. In France, you cannot say anything anymore. Here, maybe you have more freedom, maybe, I don't know. Okay, so I will play it and try to beat time. Beat time, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to do it, okay? Let's go. I hope it works. I'm not sure. Yeah, it worked.
We're getting love, we're getting hugs, but the side is fucking down. The side is fucking down. Oh, shit! We appreciate you, and we want your sign-ups, but the site is fucking down.
Okay,
the site is fucking down.
Try it at home. It's very impressive, but it's quite impressive, the generation. The problem, there is no metrics. There is no strong beat, weak beat. It's like it's a very nice phrase with no syntax, right? And if you don't pay attention, you're like, oh yeah, it's great, And then I had to listen to it for the third time. I realized there was something very wrong in there. And what is wrong is that the system has no idea what is meter, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, what is time signature, and all these kinds of stuff. But on the surface, it generates something that's really very impressive. Okay, so many musicians say, oh, AI music is great, it's very impressive, but we are not there yet. And so the point I want to make today is why. Why we still don't have something that generates incredible music, given the power of all these technologies, which are really absolutely incredible. And there are 4 points. I will try to go through each of them because I think they're very interesting. First one is music creation problem solving? So I don't know if you know, but people who work at the university, the researchers, they are only interested in solving problems, right? And if possible, solving well-defined problems. If you don't do this, you don't have a degree. You cannot be a professor, right? You cannot teach how to solve problems. And the question is, now that we have generative AI, what is the problem that we are trying to solve exactly? And here I want to emphasize the fact that the problem of generating music is very, very, not only ill-defined, is actually impossible to define. And I will try to say it in the following way. So this is a diagram of a neural network. It doesn't matter, I don't know if you are all technicians or not, I don't know. I guess you can see a diagram with stuff going on. So you have inputs and outputs. What is really important here is the error that you see on the top. What happens to train these systems, you compute something, then you compare to the real thing that you expect, you have an error. And then the error is backpropagated, okay? And backpropagated means that you are going to do this, gradient descent. Again, I don't know if I'm talking to people who are like just waiting that I'm finished, or if they understand, or it's very trivial maybe. This was invented by Newton like 250 years ago, it's very old. So try to find a point which is the minimum, the lowest one, right? Using gradient descent, okay? And you do something like this. So basically, you have an error, you differentiate the error with the parameters, okay, because it's more or less a continuous function. You increase a little bit or decrease the value of the parameters, and then at some point, you have the best value, and you are happy. But the problem here is, what is the error? I mean, when you try to learn how to detect a tumor in a radio, again, this is a well-defined problem. You can define easily what's the error. The error is the amount of images that were correctly classified, for instance, right? When you do like autonomous car, self-driving cars, you have a notion of error, which is very, very well-defined. When you do face recognition, you have a very, very well-defined error. Actually, you have a well-defined error in almost everything, except when you try to generate artistic creations. Because there is no such thing as a good song, a good melody, a good lyrics, a nice image, an interesting text, an interesting video. So there is a kind of cheating here happening. We tell you we are using an error-based gradient descent on a problem where no one is able to tell you what is the error, okay? So what's happening is not very clear here. So the only thing that could be clear, and I want really to make this point clear here, is that you could define an error if you wanted to generate, let's say, music, by looking at popularity, Popularity is something that's very easy to measure. How many times this song has been played or streamed or whatever. The problem is that these guys, I don't know where, if I to point to you, maybe, no? Who can? These guys, in a paper in Science in 2006, they have shown in a very convincing way that popularity is a chaotic kind of data. What it means is that if you go back in time, you don't have the same hits, right? So the notion of popularity is not something related to intrinsic quality. So you cannot use this. This is a very important paper, by the way, and I'm trying, okay. There are lots of arguments I have to skip. So first of all, the problem we're trying to solve is not well defined and actually impossible to define. Second thing is, we are always looking for better models, better neural networks. But what does it mean, better models? So here, in 56, which is the beginning of AI in music, you had the ILIAC suite with a very, very, very rudimentary Markov models. And in my lab, we did Deep Bach in 2016, exactly the same problem. Try to imitate Bach chorals, right? The first one, oops, is this one. It's on the web. You can listen to this. It's very bad at imitating Bach, really very bad. But it's quite interesting. You can listen to it several times. It's really interesting. Second one is Deep Bach. It's so good that teachers are fooled by the system. They don't know if it's real Bach or the Deep Bach, right? So it's very good at solving the problem of imitating Bach. My question is, how many times are you ready to listen to this? Probably not that many. So again, better model obviously today compared to 56, but not more interesting music. That's very important. And we technicians are of course focusing too much on the models. Yes, please, forward. Yes, so the reason why is this thing, because there is no common sense in music. So if you have the system, how long is the car, it will tell you 5, 10 kilometers, whatever. It doesn't have any common sense. And this is the same for music. Third one is really important, and this guy is going to kill me. This is a problem of listening. No one knows what it means to like a piece of music or not. But we try to understand more today. Why? Because everyone is listening on this. And here, you have what we call the skip data, which is very interesting. When someone listens to music, many people skip. They say, okay, enough, next, all right? And so this data, which is called a skip profile, has been studied in the past, and we have been studying also very accurately what's going on. And you see, there are small bumps and peaks here and there. And we have discovered two things which are, I think, absolutely crazy. First thing is, if you take a given song, you have a skip profile. So this is time every milliseconds, how many people stop listening, okay? And this is this. And you do the same 3 months later, it's exactly the same profile, although it's probably very different people, right? So skip profile is invariant in time. And the second thing, you take the same song, you look at the profile in France, in Europe, and you look at the profile in the States, or in Israel, or wherever, it's also exactly the same. So it's also invariant in space. And this is something crazy if you think about it, that if you take a given song, people skip exactly the same place all the time. Why do they skip? This is the next question. They skip when something happens in the song. Like the drum starts to play, the singer starts, the singer stops, the guitar starts the solo, what we call events, right? And so when you have events, something happening, people skip. So here is the paradox. If you want to have a song where no one skips, you have a song where nothing happens, and it works. And then you have a skip profile which is completely flat. Great. No, because it's completely flat, but the total number of streams is very low. So the conclusion is that if you want to have a successful song, you have to have a song where many people skip all the time. That is a song where many people don't like it. And so otherwise it won't work. And this is data that is only available now. This is like Spotify skip profile data. I'm hiding, and so this is very new. This is the only domain, music, where you can know exactly what happens. You don't have this for books, you don't have this for movies, or for images, or whatever. And so this shows that listening to music is completely crazy. We don't understand what's going on, right? Last, and then I will stop. Creators are crazy, too. And this, I will stop on this. This is what we call the IKEA effect. IKEA effect, you have to know this. So in the 60s, some people in the States decided to make a powder. You know, you buy a powder, you take a pan, you put water, the powder, you wait, and you have a great chocolate cake. And you didn't do anything. And the thing did not work. No one was interested. And then a genius came and said, hey, let's remove the eggs and force people to put real eggs with more work. And then became an instant huge success, which is still success today, by the way. And then people try to understand why is it better when people do some work than when they don't do anything. So this is called the IKEA effect, the fact that you give more value to things that you have partially done yourself, right? And so, I don't have so much time, but there is lots of evidence that when you create something with AI, or with anything, the IKEA effect is at work, which means that in the end, what is important is not so much the intrinsic quality of the generation, but the amount of work that you have provided yourself. Otherwise, it's not yours. And if it's not yours, it has no value, in fact, right? And so here I had an example. I'm hiding. I wanted to take this very famous jazz song by Coltrane. I want to play it in the style of a symphonic orchestra. And so, oops, this is what I do with the latest, like music journalist from Facebook. And I say the prompt is, okay, do it with a symphonic orchestra, and I get something. Okay, it's very nice sounds, but it's like, okay, so what? I don't recognize Wagner. Actually, I'm not even allowed to write Wagner anymore now. This is the discussion. And then, this is how we did it a few years ago with another system with belief propagation. And this is what we get. And here, if you're a good musician, you can recognize the melody, you can recognize Wagner, you can recognize everything. The sound is crap, it's total crap. But it's very easy to take this score and to play it with even like real musicians or to work with it, right? And then if you do this, at the end you have something that's a lot more yours than the things you get with the prompts. That's kind of obvious, but it's something I wanted to say. Okay, so conclusion, yes, it is solved. Actually, it has been solved for a long time, AI and music. But what is the real problem of generating music that people like, or at least that I like, is very hard. And there are lots of problems. I mentioned 4. We don't understand what is music, what it means to like a piece of music. We don't understand how people create. And most probably, appropriation is more important than quality. That's very new. and third, we have better models. Every day there is something better than yesterday, but it is not correlated to the fact that the music is going to be better. Actually, it's probably the opposite. And the last point is, because we are scientists, we are interested in problem solving only. And music creation is probably not only about problem solving. I mean, obviously, there are lots of other things going on. So that's the fact is that the scientists, they tend to define away the problems. Creation is too hard for scientists, so they remove all the annoying parts and they keep only the easy parts, right? So this is exactly what's going on today, I think. And I'm already very late. I have to stop, right? Thank you very much.